There are over 1 billion CCTV cameras that exist around the world, all over the place, right? And you've all seen it in public places, in plants, industrial settings, scenarios, etc. And the thing with CCTV cameras, as probably many of you are familiar with, is they're used for more of retrospective analysis in more cases than not, which means that after an incident occurs, people tend to go in and look at the videos, look at images, and then start figuring out what exactly happened, right? What happened leading up to that event. This has been sort of a typical scenario that you find. In other cases, you actually have monitoring centers, monitoring scenarios, where people are actually looking at a variety of a number of screens, and they are essentially trying to make sense of what is going on. Now, as humans, it's very, very difficult, impossible to have eyes on 15, 50, 100 different monitors and looking at a variety of different things, trying to find that one little event or one little incident or a near miss that could potentially become catastrophic. So this is the old school technology that has been around for a while. Regulations, compliance requirements require you to have CCTV cameras. By the way, you can have cameras on drones as well. You can have cameras on cell phones, as I mentioned. But just using this as an example, the current technology, the visual AI technology that we have, turns this around on its head. And it really looks at these images and videos proactively to be able to generate alerts before things happen. Not as things are happening, potentially before things happen. And potentially surface up the right kinds of insights that are actionable to the right people. Or, take it one step further, could also integrate with systems that you might have to automatically potentially shut off a machine, for example. If somebody's coming too close to a hazardous machine, you could have that integration set up in a way that it shuts things off. So it's all about driving action, driving insights, surfacing up these parameters through the use of visual cues that are processed with the AI technology that we have. So what are some of the core fundamental principles on which we built this technology, you would ask? One of the things that I hear very often from customers, especially in the industrial settings, is that we have our cameras that have been installed 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 10 years ago, and these are old cameras. These are analog cameras. These are not the latest IP technology cameras that you have wirelessly connected, etc. Well, we have built this technology specifically for the industrial sector, knowing these limitations. So our visual AI technology accepts streams, real-time streams, from a variety of different analog and digital cameras, CCTV cameras that are required, so that you're not having to invest in or undertake a lot of CapEx investment to upgrade the thousands of cameras that you potentially would have around the enterprise. We have a number of out-of-the-box use cases, over 130 out-of-the-box use cases. What does that mean? It means that you plug the technology in, the video streams are processed, and you start seeing insights within a couple of days. It is not something where we have to spend weeks or months trying to train, annotate, you know how the most common commonly understood forms of image technologies are about taking 1 million images of cats and labeling them and then identifying the next one and figuring out whether or not it is a cat or not. So that's a supervised approach. What we've done here, as Amir had described, is we've done a number of different advanced applications of vision technology to analyze actions and scenes and then overlay them with business processes and workflows so that it is providing you with actionable insights within the enterprise. And then it is also about scale. We also realize that most companies, most enterprises have hundreds, if not thousands or tens of thousands of cameras, and we're designed to scale across all of those. And so again, the rollout can happen fairly quickly. As Amir mentioned, we have over 125,000 cameras that are currently under operation already, and that is continuing to grow rapidly. And then the other thing, as I said, is it is also about analyzing not just a single camera, but across the different cameras. So I'm going to show you a few different examples in terms of what you can see. So here's a place where you can see where we're looking at ingress and egress at multiple points of entry and exit, and you're counting people and you're analyzing what is the footfall, what is the traffic in this particular scenario. Let me show you another example. Here's a scenario where you can look at queuing. So it's not just used for safety and security, but it's also for analytics. As you see people lining up in the various queues, you can see the counters for the queues changing. And this works, by the way, not just for a test environment, but you could have hundreds of thousands of people. We've actually done this at malls where there have been over 100,000 people entering in and out and being able to do these analytics. Here's an example in fuel efficiency. So it's not only looking at, it's also about applying many use cases on the same camera. So this is one camera, and you can see that it's tracking the number of vehicles on two sides of the pump. It is looking at whether or not a fire extinguisher is present, whether or not a fuel safety manager is present in that location. So it's compliance, analytics, safety, security, all being processed in one. So these were just a few different examples, and let me show you here how you're looking at an entire warehouse operation that is managed with visual cues, and how you're looking at all the way from the trucks entering the dock to looking at how the docks are being monitored, to how much volume of load is being processed and stored. What is the calculation? So this is not just visual technology, but it's also computation that is going on top of that. It is looking at whether or not there are safety supervisors monitoring this, how many times they're coming in, and so on. Obviously, this is a video that has been accelerated. It's looking at security as you're looking at, in this particular scenario, whether forklifts are coming close to people, near misses are identified and processed. It's looking at how long there is, what is the efficiency of processing, and also whether there are encroachment. So as you've seen, within a large warehouse, this is real and operational. All of this is being monitored through visual technology and is all being presented to not only the managers, the supervisors, and the technicians, but also to the executives as a full-fledged dashboard that they can take actions on. So these were just a few simple examples that I showed you that essentially are bringing some of these visual technologies to life. You will see the live demonstration of this as well in the facility outside. So just to summarize in terms of what some of the key takeaways are, along with a lot of the other sensors, NLP, machine data, there's also visual sensors which are very important, and there's a lot that we can do from a standpoint of analyzing visual data, applying a large number of different hardware to do edge-based processing, process it in a way that it promotes safe behavior within your enterprise, allows for you to do analytics and take insights and actions so that you are changing the culture from avoiding issues and incidents and counting the number of incidents to actually rewarding good behavior, rewarding people actually following practices, wearing the right PPE equipment, for example, and that's a whole different culture that we would look at. So again, with that, I want to thank you all. This was just a brief demonstration of what we can do with our visual technology. Thank you very much.